That's okay.
Well, Laura's here and she wants to watch Married at First Sight, so we're watching that.
Okay.
I've had a big day today.
Yeah.
We had my
Ian loves it.
actually we had my grandson's christening today, so we've been out to the church and out to the Catholic church, and we've had a big party afterwards and cake and all that. So
We're not Catholic, but anyway.
we're not Catholic.
Yeah.
We had to pretend we were Catholic today.
Bless you, my son.
I'm glad you're all good, Dave.
Yeah,
Nice to
yeah,
see
I'm
you.
fine, Deb, thank you. I was just saying,
Oh,
it,
that's good.
just like having had a cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, Olivia and Nathan have had it. He was just tired, but he decided to do the test and he was positive. And then Olivia got it. She just had a bit of a tickly throat, but the kids didn't get it. So,
Well, mine started off, it was a couple of weekends ago, and probably nearly 3 weeks ago now.
you had a
Over
bad cold.
Over the weekend, I couldn't get warm. I felt cold inside.
Yeah, I
I
get
can't
like
remember which night it was. I went to bed and I was so cold, I'd sort of had to roll myself into the duvet to get warm. And then it just went to like a head cold with a bit of a cough, bit of a tickly cough, not a persistent cough. And as I say, I just thought I had a head cold.
Yeah.
And I just said to Ian and John that the only reason I did a test was I was going to the hospital to see the sleep clinic nurse.
No, so you had to do the test.
I'd had this cold for about 10 days. And I thought, oh, if I'm going to hospital and I've got a cold, I really ought to do a check. And of course, it came up positive.
Yeah. And you were shocked.
Yeah, a friend of mine came round for a cup of coffee one day. And other than that, it was only people I'd seen in the pub.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, look at these. Everyone's
I'd
getting
seen my
it.
two sisters the Sunday and the Monday. And they went to the Three Greyhounds yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Really?
Yeah, well, they were in London because it's my sister's birthday later this month, her 70th.
Oh.
And a lady she does some work for paid for a room in a hotel for 2 nights.
Oh, nice.
So I said to them, I said, you need to look out when you're walking around for the Three Greyhounds. I said, it's not far from your hotel. And they said it was absolutely heaving yesterday because the rugby was on.
Oh, that would have been good. Did they enjoy it?
Scotland won. Great. Fucking great.
I better go. Laura's waiting for me.
Okay.
All right.
I'll see you next time.
See you later.
See you next time. Hi, Pete.
Say hello, Pete.
Yeah.
Hello.
Bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
How are you, Pete?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
England got fucked.
Yeah, Scotland were pretty good. Ireland were fantastic.
I heard that. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
It's going to be between Ireland and France. Yeah, England.
I don't completely understand all the rules of it, but right at the end,
the new rules.
could they not have taken a penalty kick instead of going for a scrum?
We're
Good question.
talking about at the end.
Yeah.
You're talking about
but
Scotland.
if they'd have done that,
They'd have drawn.
yeah, well, that's what I couldn't make out, why they didn't just go for the bloody ball.
Yeah, they'd have drawn the match.
Yeah.
But,
They want to win it, Freddie. They want to draw.
Well, I know, but
England
They want to
make
go for the
too
jugular.
many errors.
a point is better than no points this morning.
Yeah, true.
Hello, Brandon.
It proved on the contrary, mile boy.
Yeah,
They went for it and they got it.
yeah.
You know, fortune favours the brave, my son.
Exactly.
Evening, Brendan.
How are you, Macca?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to see you.
How's things out in Sydney?
As if we had a little bit of a rainy day today, but it's quite hot. Every day is pretty damn hot. So we've got a bit of a tan up now. So it's nice to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All restrictions lifted now. It's back to sort of normal there.
We got the mask thing on. Debbie
All
and I
right.
went up for a quick time meal tonight. We sat outside and there wasn't too many people wearing masks, but yeah, it's just the mask thing, you know.
Right. What about you, John? Have they got masks? Do you have to wear masks in Seattle or?
Yeah, basically that's always been that case. It's just the way the country's divided, Brandon. Like for instance, my son, he lives on the border of Washington and Idaho.
Yeah.
And Idaho is a red state. I mean, it means it's a Republican
Redneck.
state, and so it's ridiculous that you know, the fact is they like guns and that it should be that as well. And occasionally they go shopping. It's only about 2 miles over the border. They go shopping, and my grandsons will always say, "Well, how come no one's wearing a mask?" You know, so
Right.
it's weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and saying that, my son's family before COVID, they were acting like COVID was here before COVID because she's a dental hygienist and that's the way they are, you know. So anyway, my grandson got it, and he's very careful, you know, just got it. So
Yeah.
he's okay, he's fine, you know. But yeah.
No, it's funny how it's all different. Different standards and different ways they're implementing the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, our state is about 75% fully vaccinated. So, but it should be 100%, but it's 75. You know?
They were talking about books the other day, about Peter Pratt's book.
Yeah.
And I saw my niece a few weeks ago. It's the first time I've had chance to catch up with her because of the COVID restrictions, and she caught it and stuff. And she bought me a book, and you might have seen it before. It's this one. It's called Attentional Shipping.
Okay.
And I don't know, Pete might have seen it or Fruity. And it's a journey around the shipping forecast. You know, the BBC shipping forecast you get 3 times a day.
Yeah.
This guy called Charlie Connolly. This book's been around. It's been around a while.
Yeah.
And you think, well, why would you want to write about forecast? But it's really quite interesting, and all about the various areas. And the guy who invented the term weather forecast was a guy called Robert Fitzroy, and he was the one that came up with all the various areas on the shipping forecast, like Tyne, Dogger, Fisher. When you hear all these forecasts, and I used to listen to the shipping forecast a lot when I was on the ferries up in Scotland, because the storms we used to get were awful, and so you'd listen out for that. But they've named one of the shipping forecasts. They've renamed it. It was called I forgot what it's called now, but they've renamed it Fitzroy, and it's the only one named after a human being, and it's Fitzroy because he was the guy that invented it.
They've only just done that, haven't they?
What, the book?
No, the
they've only just changed. They have, Pete. Yeah, it's only recently been done. Yeah, but it's a really interesting book. I'm sort of halfway through it at the moment, and he goes to all these countries where the shipping forecast map hits, you know, and he tells you stories about these areas of sea and what happened historically in them, and it's quite interesting. So, book of the week promotion.
Thank you, Anchorman Brandon.
Yeah,
well done, Brendan. Doing a great job.
It's a book I recommend.
Callum, good evening, Purser.
Hey, Alistair.
Good morning to you. Yes.
You've got a sore head this morning, Alistair.
Just a wee bit.
I wonder why that would be.
What did Celtic beat Rangers, Alistair?
No, Scotland beat England at rugby.
I saw that. Yeah,
I deserved it.
They did.
Halfway through, I thought they got it all wrong.
What was the score?
Very strange decision.
I haven't watched it. What was the score?
2017.
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
But the weather conditions were atrocious.
Well, there'll be a public holiday in Scotland on Monday.
Well, yeah.
It was a really good game of rugby, actually. It was you couldn't really predict it. You always felt Scotland had something left in the tank, you know, and it proved to be so towards the end of the game. I mean, but yeah, I thought it was a good game. It wasn't one-sided by any stretch of the imagination. There were parts where England sort of dominated play, but Scotland had a very good first half.
I've got a question for Alistair. Alistair, I'm in the chapter of the book where Pratty's mentioning his assistant purser, Alistair. I presume that's you. That's you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good. It's fascinating because I'm at the point where I was gone in the 1980s, so I'm learning a lot of shit. Yeah.
Well, some great stories in there, I should think. Some really. I've not read it. I've not read any of them yet. I'm going to buy both books on Amazon and get them delivered.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It really is. I mean, you'll be surprised, Brandon, because
well, some of the tales.
Well, I mean, the thing sticking in mind. The one stuck in my mind, just reading about, is that he says that one of the doctors was complaining to the person that put the computers on the ship, saying that it's costing him $1 million a year.
Yeah,
$1 million a year. I mean, I know way back when.
Do you know what, Colonel?
It's costing him personally, but when we started the crew bar, Macca, I got in trouble talking about handbag, right? They told, whoa. But you read Praddy's book, and the doctor says, the damn computers are costing me $1 million a year, and here we were getting a that's yeah.
What was handbag? Was that tips? Was it?
Come on,
handbag was your.
It was a 10
handbag
cent.
Was your handbag.
It was a 10-cent coin stuck in the bottom of a pourer.
Oh, that's old school, darling. we got beyond that years ago. That was on the Titanic.
Okay. Anyway, you'll read it in the book, Brennan.
Ask Alice about when Captain Love helped him decant the orange juice.
Whatever there, Al.
No, Alice. Not me.
No, Alice. Yeah.
I haven't seen Alice. What's wrong with us?
No, well, I spoke to him a couple of days, well, was it yesterday, and said that there was a double header today. I don't know why he hasn't been on.
I'm very disappointed. Very. Evening, Watsy. Good to see you, mate.
Hello. You too. Come on.
We had a good meal with Watsy last week, actually.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah.
Caught up. Yeah, it was lovely. Lovely to meet him in person.
Well, beautiful. Very nice.
Not a bad old fruit.
Good. It's good you can meet up.
Is everybody's screen freezing, or is it just me?
No,
there is a lot of screen freezing.
No, they're just people not talking, Stephen.
Okay.
I'm not here.
Yeah. See,
I'm getting half a cent.
Oh, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I would like someone to explain the VAR rules to me, please.
VAR?
Yeah.
I'd like someone to explain the scrum rules to me.
Oh, we're talking about the match. Talking about the match on Friday, Steve, which I knew nothing about.
You knew nothing about?
No, I spaced out. It's the FA Cup. You know, I rely on my mate in Manchester to tell me, "Are you watching the match, John?"
Sorry, John. Sorry, Johnny.
Did you go, Steve?
I went, yes. I don't understand this VAR rule. He obviously handled the ball and they let it go. I don't understand what's going on.
Wow,
anyway,
Steve.
We should have won the game anyway. It was our own fault.
It was. They reckon they change the rules every week, eh?
I think they
There
must
are,
do.
Alice, that's for you, mate. That background.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Yeah, I think they must do.
I was thinking of you this morning.
You slip your brown envelope if he keeps on.
Ooh, you're such a bitch, dear. Gosh, oh, I thought old age would have calmed that sort of thing down, but obviously not. Ooh. What a shame. Wait till we get back out to Sydney. I'll soon sort that out.
Yeah, when?
Yeah, when? Well,
How you
Blackpool
feeling,
Bob's
Freddie?
due out soon, isn't he?
He'll be happy.
Stevie and-
Blackpool.
Stevie and I are going to wine and dine him until he's beyond wining and dining, aren't we, Wassy?
They're saying they're like we were going to open the borders. We're going to open up in a couple of next month.
To where? Not Perth.
No, but going to get in here. Like the tourists are going to get in here easier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to let him in.
Perth, forget Perth. We forget.
Why is Perth or Western Australia the big problem then? Have they got
Because
higher?
run by an arsehole, a complete
the
arsehole.
Premier's a tosser.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's the same as
Called
over here.
McGowan.
Okay. Yeah.
He wants to
McGowan.
be
And
a
I'm
separate
surprised he
country.
hasn't. I'm surprised he hasn't had a bullet through his head, to be honest.
Well, my son-in-law is a Western Australian, and
And he likes it. That's what-
I'm not sure he's a lover of him or not, but I do. There is definitely a WA not against the rest of Australia. They feel years and years ago. This is what he was saying to me. Years and years ago, before they found all the gold and the ore and the minerals, that WA didn't get a fair cut of the. Didn't get the money from government as much as they should have done. And then when they started getting all the stuff out of the ground and the gold, he said the government came along and just took it in, But
yeah, but
he said some of the issues stem from there, But
Brendan, they're the rules, and you can't
Yeah.
change the rules. I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
matter what
yeah.
boundaries
but
are. if it belongs-
it's all one federation, all one country, isn't it? So,
Absolutely. I mean, you don't see
Supposedly.
Yorkshire shifting the borders to Lancashire, do you? And basically,
Not
that's
at all.
what's happened.
You're all in the same boat.
Yep.
But he it was I don't know, WA. It was that I don't know if it. I remember laughing. I said, "Would you stop and ask a policeman the way?" And it said, "No, it's more like to tell you to F off." I said, "What? We're in England, but in Australia, they're telling you to F off over there." But I don't know. They just seemed a bit. How can I say it? It was a fantastic place, but I sometimes felt the police were a little bit over the top. But they weren't. They were.
What, when you went there?
Yeah,
when
they
you
were.
went there?
But then again, I had an incident with the WA. I got knocked over by a car, and they were first class. But it was an Irish guy that was dealing with me. But there's a lot of the general WA public. A lot of, I suppose it's most countries, distrust of the police. They don't really trust them. But you get the same here with the Met and people like that, I suppose. But it goes all over the world. It was interesting that they WA police. My daughter used to work for them, and the building is right. The commissioner's office is right where the gavel was. The Test cricket ground, and he had the best view of the cricket ground.
Hey, Barbo.
Bit of a
The
coincidence.
Wacker,
The Wacker, that's it.
the Wacker.
The Wacker,
Wacker.
yeah. The
The
Gabba's
Gabbers
in
in Brisbane.
Brisbane.
The Gabba's in Brisbane,
Yeah.
and the Wacker is no longer.
Oh,
No, they built a new
Good
one,
morning,
new
Sam.
stadium.
New,
Well,
new
Alistair.
stadium, yeah.
Where's the whip?
You said Wales Water
The
Police.
filth have turned up.
Have you got a leather jacket to go with it?
No, just that.
Hey, Bob. How are
Hi
you, son?
guys, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Very
Yeah.
good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I managed to book the QE2 for another couple of nights, so
Yeah,
Um,
fantastic. Well done.
the tour is back on. So there was I know the guy now that's taking it. He's a South African guy because the English guys left, which is such a shame because he was really, he's in all the documentaries for QE2 for Dubai, but he left. He's gone to Jordan, but the South African guy's taking the tour, so it should be good. Yeah. No. How is everyone? Everyone okay?
Yep.
Yeah,
You good?
okay.
You healthy?
Yeah.
What's that camel behind you, Bobo?
I was going to say the camel's looking well.
Yeah,
Camel's
no,
biting
they
your
are.
head.
They're looking well, those camels.
One hump or
They're my
two.
best friends.
One
Right.
hump or two.
Have you got over your sickness, Bob?
I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there, but I had a negative on the lateral flow, but I have a feeling I probably did have something, but I did have negative, but I was really sick last week. I wouldn't have been able to go into the crew bar last week. I've just got really congestion, and my son just rang me just to tell me he's got COVID. So in UK, it must be really rife. Yeah. So I don't know what it's like in America and that. With you, Colonel, is it bad there still?
Well, the thing is, you're not hearing about much hospitalisation.
Yeah.
And I think the new variant, I think it's reached its peak. It's coming down.
Oh, okay.
You know, but I mean, not to say that people aren't still wearing their masks. You know, so,
Yeah. What about Australia? How's Australia going, guys?
I reckon we've peaked, Bobo. They're saying the
good.
same thing. That we've peaked. We're still Sydney or New South Wales having, I think, 45 deaths today, but in the last 24 hours. But the numbers are coming down. But I think it's because the testing's coming down. And like, there's no or hard to get PCR tests now, so it's all about lateral flow. If you test and you don't record it, then numbers are down.
Yeah, numbers are down.
They're saying that that we've reached the peak and we're on the slide, so that's good.
That's good. And is Australia taking in foreigners yet or not?
I just said to the
Yeah, I
guys,
think they are, aren't
they're talking about it next month.
Oh, next month. Okay.
Yeah, it was on the news today.
Well, the Philippines is opened up as of the 10th of February, so I'll be heading over there in March sometime, end of March.
Excellent.
So, yeah, so just for a little while, not a short trip, just a short trip. Yeah, so.
But you're back in Sydney at the end of February, Bob?
24th of February.
Yeah,
24th of February. So I usually head out to the Philippines for my birthday, so that's from 29th of March. So yeah, no.
Brilliant.
I was wondering about how all you guys. I mean, I know a lot of you have mentioned before about how you ended up in Australia, but the seafarers, the sort of mass movement to Australia was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and it trickled off, I guess, when the immigration started tightening up a lot more. And a lot of those seafarers are, I suppose, a lot of them are no longer with us. And I'd be interested. I wondered sort of how many seafarers, they jumped ship and they just left and went into Oz without having to worry too much about immigration. Wonder what the numbers were. They must have been quite significant.
Hang on a second. Let me try and put you on. You're on Zoom? Have you got?
I think so, Brendan, as in the days of the amnesty.
Can you hear me?
Oh, mute, Matt. Okay.
Let me try and get you on the crew bar. Hang on.
Who's this?
Who are you talking to?
Say
Matt?
hello. Okay, can talk, Kello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
That's the first one.
How you going, boys?
All right, Mickey.
Good, thanks.
How you going?
All good.
I'm
You're not
sorry, I'm
going-
driving, so it's a bit hard to hear you all. But yeah, all the best. How's your Christmas, boys? All good?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
What are you up to? Look, you've gone very quiet. You weren't talking about me, were you?
Yeah.
Carol, anyone would talk about you.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Are you still locked up or you're still locked out?
No, we're free.
Oh, the freed you all up now, Bruce, yeah?
Yeah. The UK is pretty much opened up.
I've had COVID, so I was locked up for about a week.
All right.
But I've been
How was it?
for a week now, so I'm okay to go out again. Isn't that the only real restrictions are wearing masks in certain places?
Oh, that's fair enough.
That's about it, really. And even that is not mandatory in some places. You know, supermarkets are asking you to wear them, but legally you don't have to.
Yeah. Well, that's good because I think we just got to get on with it and live with it, haven't we?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your vaccinations and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you coming out to Australia, Bruce?
I have no idea. No idea, mate. Not at the moment.
Okay. I was speaking to Des Melican the other day.
All right. Right.
Yeah, he's still very well. He's still bike riding. He's still walking. Yeah, he's been very well. So yeah, he's doing okay. He says he's going to come out later in the year if it's open, you know.
Yeah. Well, he normally comes out about March time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he would have been out by now, he reckons, but because he's getting sort of like cabin fever at home in Ireland. But he just said with the restrictions and what have you, he just said he'd wait a little bit longer, you know. But he'll come out later in the year.
Well, Noel Hogan lives in America, in Southern Ireland, and he's been out. He was out before Christmas.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's got family.
Yeah.
He's got a family ticket.
His daughter lives there.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But Macca, hasn't Blackpool Bob got family here?
Yes, he has. He's got a nephew in Ryde.
It's a nephew, though. I think it has to be your son or your daughter.
It's got to be direct family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're hoping that Macca will come up and see us one day. It's a long way. It takes at least an hour and 15 minutes to come up.
You're such a fucking bitch.
I'm glad someone else can wind him up.
There's no need to stop being a lady, Macca.
You stopped it long ago, sweetheart.
You'll never die curious, dear.
Oh, I know. Oh, he's gone. Thank God for that. All right.
Mac.
Yes, Taffy.
Ask Mick where Des lives in Ireland, just the vicinity where he lives.
I will do. He'll probably call me back in a minute. He's driving, so he's probably gone through a bad patch.
Okay.
I mean, he does live way out in North, poor bastard, but no, it's all right. Sometimes the poor have to move out of town.
I seen a wonderful photograph of him with his family the other day. I mean, he always was a good-looking git, but honestly, his family, they look fantastic.
Pratty's book, you can download it on Kindle.
Yes, you can. I've got, yeah.
I like to read. I know a lot of people do the Kindle things, and I actually prefer a book. I've tried them, but I haven't got a Kindle actually. But you can do.
I've got to get it. Actually. I've got to get Pratty's books.
I've got it on my phone. I've got a Kindle, but I never use it.
Yeah.
But I've got the Kindle app on the phone.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about that.
Hey, what were you saying, man? Tuffy.
Well, the Kindle book, because I have difficulty reading a book, really. So, but I downloaded it to my laptop, and it's wonderfully clear. So, and of course, I've always got my laptop wherever I go. So even if I only read a page or two, eventually I'll get right through it. But
and of course, you can make the font bigger as well, can't you?
It's so good. But it's really nice and clear, and I can cope with it very well. But and I will, and because you don't sort of take a book. I like books as well. The bottom of my bed here is full of books that I've read and kept. And but the Kindle idea is brilliant because I'm going to get stuck one day somewhere, and I'll just tap on and read 5 or 6 pages, and it'll. So I'm really looking forward to getting on the road and reading that book. Really.
Can you get
I was
audio
saying about the
books?
photograph I saw, Mac, of Mick, and oh my word, looks like he's got a glorious life. Well, on the
Who's
lake
that?
it was, at his house on the lake.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful home.
Big, massive veranda overlooking, and I thought, oh, what a glorious life Mick has got, you know, and he deserves it because he was one of the ones with a bit of sense, you know. Well, the rest of us were a bit wild, but Mick was very steady, really, for considering he was a young, good-looking guy, you know. But he was.
Well, where the hell were you when he was at sea then? He was far from steady.
Oh, right. Well, I didn't know him well enough. I mean, I know he was with
How many times
Mr.
did we?
Bacon. Mr. Bacon was his mentor, really.
How many times did we cover him, Al?
Yeah, I always thought of Mr. Bacon as his mentor, Miss Bacon. And of course, Alan had his fun days as well, you know. So,
Sydney sailings could be a hectic for him, couldn't they?
What's that, Freddie?
Sydney sailings.
Oh, forget about him. He wouldn't work. Just have to put him to bed and cover for him. Call in the floater to cover. I mean, he used to stumble in the bar, just fall in, pissed out of his pissed, and
So-
you know, put him on a case of beer to sleep and send him down his cabin. But no.
So, Fruity, you just mentioned that you had corona. I'm glad to see you're up and running again. I know Steve has had it, but that's a great question for the crew bar. How many people have actually caught? Because I think a lot of people are just not saying.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want anybody to know they've had it.
I'll tell you what, if I got it again, I wouldn't report it. I'd just isolate.
Yeah.
Because they just pester you. And then they asked me to do a survey, which took 15 minutes. But they wanted questions like, how many GCSEs did I have when I left school? What's that got to do with having
They ask you about your gender as well. That's normally on the survey.
It was unbelievable. And when they phoned me up to find out who I'd been in contact with, I said, well, I was in the club, I was in the pub, and I went to the co-op shop. Well, who did you meet? I said, I don't know. And then they said, well, what did you do the week before that? Where did you go? So I said, I went to the co-op, the pub, and the club. Who did you meet? I don't know. How about the week before that?
That's a big difference, Foodie, of America and the rest of the world. No one in America would ever report they had it. There is no national grid, so you know, I mean, because people say, "Well, that's against my freedom of speech to do that." Yeah, yeah.
That's. We're all paying for it. All these surveys and stuff. It's all coming out of the taxes. Yeah.
Well, they sent me another one, Brendan, after that to do another one, and it actually said if I haven't completed it, well, I think it's tomorrow, then it's too late. Well, I'm not going to bother to do it. I'm spending another 10 minutes answering useless questions.
In Australia, you report it, or they ask you to report it yourself for the lateral flow tests and that. But with the normal tests, it's obviously gets reported, but nobody gives a toss. I've never been asked a question.
Yeah.
I've never been contacted by anybody or asked anything.
The thing is, when they did away with a track and trace where you had to swipe in on the app or whatever when you went anywhere, they would have all that information, but they stopped it. They
We're still doing that.
They relaxed
it. It was costing a fortune, wasn't it? Track and trace.
Yeah.
Well,
when I had it
would have cost when you know, if you had the app on your phone and you went into a pub and you just scanned it on the notice, surely that wasn't costing them that much money because the infrastructure was already there, set up.
Yeah, but they would have been charging, I guess, on the number of people using it and things like that. I don't know. I know track and trace cost a lot of money.
Cost billions and billions. 4.5 billion, I think, isn't it?
My granddaughter, my 4-year-old yesterday, my granddaughter just contracted it yesterday. 4 years old.
Really?
Whoa. Oh, dear, that's young.
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. When they asked me where I'd been, I told them been to Old Trafford. And I thought they might have closed the place down, but they didn't. So
You should have done, Steve, after the other night.
Tell me about it. who were you with? I said there was 70,000 people there. I can't remember all the names.
I remember all those. Oh, dear.
It's a shame Blackpool Bob and Dave are not on, isn't it? With the result of the game yesterday, Bristol City against Blackpool.
It's his anniversary, Macca. He's down in St Ives.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's paying a bar bill his dad left behind 40 years ago, I think.
Oh yeah, same hotel, wasn't it?
I heard that. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
It's a nice touch, actually. What they've done. I mean, obviously, it's a special occasion for both of them, but I think it's very poignant that they've gone back to where Dave's mum and dad spent their honeymoon. It's a lovely story.
Have they got the same room?
How romantic.
Same room, same.
Well, we
bed,
did. Jerry did ask me. She said, "Do you think Dave was conceived there?" I don't know.
Probably get the same breakfast. The chef is probably still there.
Yeah, the bacon will still be the same.
Life's sweetest reward. Let it flow. It floats back to you. The love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. It's love.
Yeah.
What a lovely guy. What a lovely guy he is.
He is a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Hafid.
He was outrageous. He used to make me laugh so much. I shared a cabin with him for a while, and this one morning I was getting ready to go up to the International Lounge, which was about a lunchtime start. It was pretty good, so I was having a shave, and he should have been turned to about 2 hours ago, and he was just lying in his bunk there. I think he had a bit of a hangover. And Joanna, John Eden, came down and burst into the cabin and said, "Where's that Miss Inge?" And I said, "Well, he's on the top bunk there." I said, he's sleeping. And he said he couldn't wake him. Dave wouldn't stir. And then he said to Dave, if you don't wake up and get up, I'm shaving. He said, "I'm going to slap you so hard on the arse," you see. He didn't wake, and he lifted the counterpane to hit Dave, who was naked, on the arse, and Dave let out this huge fart, and I nearly fell on the floor. I nearly cut my throat shaving. It was so funny. And then Dave slowly turned around and said, "Morning, Joanne."
Good morning.
It was so funny. I'll never forget that. That was so funny. I still live on that one. It still makes me laugh today as much as it did then. Such a funny event. Bless old Joanne. She's gone now, but that was that was Dave.
7 years since we met up for Joanne's funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a lovely guy, John. Really nice. Very sad he's gone.
Yeah. I've always got a permanent picture in my mind when he was a wine steward, and he always had a fag in his hand.
That's right. And it always carried like that. It was just, yeah.
A napkin in the other hand like that, wiping the sweat off his brow.
That's right.
Let's just go and serve this bottle of wine.
It was like you see in those programs, isn't it, where the waiter's sweating profusely over your meal. Is everything all right? You know, there's drips of sweat coming off you. And Joanne used to have the napkin. You're quite right. He always had it trying to
dab in his face.
Was he on Oriana? That guy?
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, he was.
yes.
I think I do know. Remember?
Yeah,
because I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Bags and,
He always had the
always
napkin.
sweating.
But you always carried a waiter's cloth, didn't you? But
Yeah.
he just used to dab his brow with it all the time. And I don't know what the passengers must have thought.
Oh,
You talk about sweating. How about the gee in the crew mess on Oriana?
Who, Dave?
When he was carving the joint and all the sweat was
oh,
Who was
no.
that?
the
What are you
gee.
talking about?
Jimmy McGee.
Oh, yeah. Mm. I'm surprised you ate the mess there. I thought you'd be in the leading hands mess every night.
So what was he, a section waiter or what did
Brucey,
he
you
do?
listening to me?
Oh, sorry, what you on about?
I'm surprised you dined in the mess. I thought you'd been in the leading hands mess.
I used to go in a crew mess at lunchtime and the leading hands at dinner
Of course you did, yes. Mm.
because it suited the timing, dear.
Absolutely.
Crew food was
Lunchtimes I'd normally been for a heavy palace. And then we would go down there after that. But mind you, it depended. If I was working in the afternoon, then sometimes I'd go down there early, have something, and then clear off. But it
I thought you always had Dom Perignon smoked salmon sandwiches in the back of Baker's Bar.
Oh,
No?
I heard, yeah.
Those were the days, darling.
Yeah.
Had to get rid of a few bottles of Dom.
the crew. The crew
Easiest way to
food.
balance the bar.
I remember the crew food on the Canberra. I fell for I was stupid. I went down the mess room one day. I was working in the bars, and the beef was really. It was a horrible meal. And the crew messman was an Irish guy, and he said, write a complaint in the book about it. So I wrote, because the beef, it was a bit green. So I wrote the beef was green, you know. Within the day, I got called down to Dougie Williams's office. And I thought, what's this about? I went in there and the head chef was there. And I thought, hello, I know what this is about. So he said, did you write this in the and I said, well, yeah, it was a little bit tough, you know, trying to get out of it, thinking this is going to be really awkward. And he said, do you want to work in the library? Because I was in the Peacock Bar at the time, earning, doing quite well. I said, no, I don't want to work in the library. He said, well, you will do if you're writing this book. So that was it. And I learned then to get the meals off the press if I didn't like the crew food. It was easier.
I should tell you my story about the crew mess, because I was the crew service cook under Lou Menzies. The only time I went up to the bridge to get written up is there I was carving the meat, and the deckies were all from Belfast. And what one day this guy was so drunk, and I guess he said, "Give me another slice, Mom. Give me another slice." And I wouldn't do it, right? So all of a sudden, the U gang said, "John, he's coming around with a knife."
Oh no!
And so all I did, I was a bit meek and mild, right? But as he came round into the door, I pushed him, and he's so drunk he slipped and hit his head on the watertight door. There's blood everywhere, and the blood came over my chef's jacket. So I looked like I was a badass, right? So it did two things. The crew respected me. They thought I punched him. I did it. I just pushed him. But yeah. I had to go up the bridge, and I forget who the old man was. But yeah.
Yeah, I did. Don't ask John for an extra slice of meat. That's the lesson that we learned there.
You won't get it.
Brendan,
What if your grandchildren ask for an extra? Can I have some more, please?
Brendan, the crew messman on the Canberra was Seamus Hines.
That's him.
That's it.
He was an Irish guy. That's it. Well done. How you remember
wasn't
that?
it Terry the messman? Terry the Scouse messman?
Yeah, that was Oriana.
That was Oriana, yeah.
There was a picture on Facebook the other day of him and the goose. His mate, the goose.
Oh, John the laundryman.
No. Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was laundry. Yeah.
He died. Big smoker. He died on
Yeah.
leave. He went on leave,
Yeah.
never came back. Yeah.
Yeah, because someone wanted to know why he was called the goose.
Yeah. Why was that?
Well, he always used to say, "I'd like to goose that." That was, wasn't it, Al? That was one of his sayings. I could goose that.
Yeah. Talking about messes, I used to enjoy.
He obviously wasn't
enjoy your camp lunch on the Sun Princess. No,
The what? Sorry.
your camp lunch on the Sun Princess.
Well, loads of them.
Chicken and mushroom pie. Not remember that, the chicken and mushroom pie. We're going down for a camp lunch, dear. Chicken and mushroom pie.
Camp lunch. No, never knew that.
Camp. Chicken and mushroom pie.
I remember the food on the Sun Princess was quite good, actually, the crew food. I didn't really have any complaints there at all. It was pretty good. You'd never have to get anything off the press.
Yeah. I don't actually remember the mess room on the Oriana, to be honest with you. I don't know what I did for food. I just don't remember the mess room.
Well, we used to open the bar at lunchtime at the Lookout Bar, the Oriana, and we closed it. I don't know. We closed at 2:00. By 2:30, we wiped down, and we used to go down to the Leading Hands mess. And we had a curry every day. We had a Guyanese curry of the day.
Yeah.
And then put your head down, and then up for the evening session. You know, the hours we worked, it was incredible, wasn't it? Really.
All the chow pot.
Greg Harris was a crew cook, wasn't he?
Yeah, Greg.
Married Blackjack, I tell you.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Yeah. Are they still married, Dave?
They were.
Still together?
Going back a few years, Greg had some heart problems, but as far as I know, he's still about.
We saw them about 5 years ago, didn't we, Dave?
I can't remember the last time. I can remember seeing him down in Portsmouth at a get together down there, but that's quite some time ago.
Yeah,
I thought Taffy caught up with him. Taffy didn't
He might have
catch up
done.
with Greg?
He's off the. He's Alan. Did he pick that up?
Alan's.
Sorry, who are you talking about again?
Greg Harris and Blackjack.
Greg the cook and Blackjack. Didn't you catch up with them?
Tell you.
No, I don't think so. The only cook I caught up with from the Sun, but it was from the Sun Princess, and he lives in West Wales. I did try and get him to come on the crew bar, but he lives in a lovely place near Aberaeron, and he runs some specialty food type. I think he's got like a small farm or something.
Okay.
But I'll.
What are we on about, Alan?
What was his name, Alan?
Oh, I can't remember. I'll try and put his photograph up. I'll try and find his photograph. He was going bald. He was sort of bald when he was with us on the ships, and he was only like in his probably 20s then.
Was his name Tony? Did he have glasses? I can't remember his.
No, a
Tony.
little short guy. He was a little short guy. I was surprised because he sort of popped up on Facebook, and I was driving around the Welsh coast. And I thought, I'll see if I can contact him, and I got in contact with him. I'll try and find his photograph because I can't think of his name. He wasn't. He was very well known. He was very well known amongst all of us in the crew, but he never sort of got in with the crowd, if you know what I mean. He wasn't just he wasn't in with like where we used to get very close. 5 or 6 of us would be, get to know each other really well. He never really got very close. That's the photograph I just put up is Angela, her mother, because she just got mentioned.
Yeah.
And
there he is.
I think it's Disneyland, Los Angeles.
I recognise him now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He really was a nice bloke, and we got some nice photographs of Steve I and Alan Bacon and Phil, when we went up to the funeral, and paid our respects. It was a nice couple of days, that was.
Yeah, and we went to the wrong fucking church. We went to the wrong church.
Went to the wrong church.
I hope there wasn't a funeral going on there.
The vicar was quite in the know, I think, as well. The vicar doing his sort of memorial, put a couple of things in there that you thought, oh, he knows all about seagoing, get life and gay people on ships and everything. He didn't put anything derogatory, but he just slipped in a couple of things that we knew what he was talking about.
That's Bacon. That's Bacon.
Oh.
Bacon.
Oh, Miss Bacon.
Sorry, girls, I'm a bit late.
Alan, how are you?
Evening, Alan.
How are you, Macca?
I'm good, son. How you doing?
Good. Well, let's turn this thing up.
Lovely to see you, as always.
Okay, thank you. How are you, Mr. Walker?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Very well. Sorry about your team coming second.
Well, that's nothing new these days.
Maybe if they paid him a bit more, do you think that would help?
Yeah. Well, it seems that we've got some dodgy characters amongst us, it seems.
Well, Leighton Orient won yesterday, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to work with the barman, Al, didn't it? We paid them more.
Yeah, very right.
Perform better.
Yeah. Anyway, that's life.
Yeah, true.
Where's that picture from, Steve?
Which one?
Steve, what's he?
Oh, Steve.
Have to be.
Huh?
Okay.
Pete Stevens, isn't it?
That's Fraser on the left, isn't it? Behind Stephen.
Fraser, yeah.
That's Fraser.
Fraser, Jeff Watson.
Yeah. Jeff Watson.
And me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you.
Well, the crew board didn't have that wallpaper.
No. I'm not sure, to be honest, Pete.
You might have been ashore. You might have been ashore.
Yeah, possibly.
Looks like it could be a wine bar with all those grapes on the wallpapaper or something.
Yeah.
Not a library.
Steve,
definitely not a library. You obviously don't remember.
Jeff Watson is living a very sort of rural life up in North Queensland, isn't he? He always seems to be in the outback or something.
Yeah, he. I don't know if he hasn't moved to now, Taffy, but he was up north. Yeah, he did live in far north Queensland somewhere, but I don't know if he hasn't moved Philippines or somewhere over there. I'm not sure.
I know. I was amazed. I thought, blimey, because he was a real crazy guy. He was. You never knew what he was going to do next, and I was really surprised to see how he'd gone back to the land, if you like. He was living like in amongst the trees, and he was really back to the land. I've got a great story of Jeff Watson and Alan Legg, and this I could briefly tell you because it's really funny. Alan Legg had pulled this girl the night before on the Canberra, and she had asked him to be like a baby on her breasts, without being too rude, suck my like a baby.
Oh, right. As you do.
And the next morning in the Meridian room, when we were serving the morning coffees, we used to be spread out around the sides of the rooms, and Jeff Watson was sort of just as you came in through the door, and Leggy was at the end of the room with his tray and cups and coffee and everything. And as this girl walked past, so Leggy was daft enough to tell us, what she'd said to him. as she walked past Jeff Watson, he said, "Suck my tits like a baby." She stormed up
Lovely.
the room, right through the Meridian room, all these old biddies and everything, and she whacked him, his tray, everything. He went flying. It was hilarious. We were all, we were on the floor laughing with it all. It was so, that was Jeff Watson. You never knew what he was going to do, Jeff Watson. Lovely to see you, Alan. Nick was just on.
Oh, was he?
Nicky Callow,
Oh, sorry, I missed him.
live
Yeah.
from his truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
On the phone.
Oh, all right. Oh, shame.
yeah.
We'll catch him next time, hopefully. It's been pouring down the rain here. I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, it's a grotty day today.
Same here, pissing it down up here as well.
Yeah.
Bloody thing. I'm glad when it's summer.
I do like Stephen putting his pictures up. Some of them are really good, some interesting ones as well.
Another one up.
Yeah. The one I thought was really impressive was the one with all the restaurant stuff. You put it up the other week. That's the one. Unusual picture. Don't see many of those around.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Bob Whitmore in the middle,
know
isn't
that
it?
section, anybody know that section waiter there on the left-hand side? Hans Ming, his name was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Miss
Yeah.
Ming.
It's me, yeah.
He was accommodation supervisor.
Really?
Yeah, you got
section
to-
waiter on the,
He-
and there was
he-
another guy. He was good mates
went
with
up
a
to
guy
officer.
called Alan Ball.
Can you send me that picture, Stephen? So I'll make it bigger.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, Hans got to accommodation deputy purser eventually
did.
on Canberra.
He's that behind
Really?
Macca.
Yeah.
They call him
Kevin
Miss Ming,
Mountain.
wasn't it? Al?
Yeah.
Kevin Mountney behind Macca.
I was on the
Yeah.
Aronsay. On the Aronsay.
Yeah.
That photo's taken on the Aronsay.
Kevin
No,
Mountney.
I was on Aronsay as a bellboy.
Yeah.
Kevin
Stevie,
that picture of me
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is on Island Princess.
IP, yeah. Kevin Mountney,
IP.
Big Harry, the Scouser.
There's Paddy
Yeah.
Reid.
I can tell
Mountney.
you. Do you want me to tell you a
There's
story
two-
about Big Harry the Scouser?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we've heard it, Steve, but you can say it again.
Can I tell it again?
Say it again, yeah.
Big
Go on,
Harry,
Steve.
PRS on the Sun Princess. There was a big alleyway party going on. And obviously we've been working. We finished work, come down, we'll go to the party. Anyway, I go into the cabin. I was in the fish tank. Remember the fish tank, anybody?
No.
No.
Whereabouts was that? There was Fountain Court.
Yeah, the one, it had the fish tank in it, obviously. Anyway,
Oh.
doesn't matter. Anyway, I go down the party's going on in the alleyway, it's going on. So I come down, I go and get changed, have a quick wash. I go to the sink, have a wash, pick up the bloody towel to out my face. He'd had a woman in the cabin. He'd done the business, and she'd wiped herself on the towel. And I'm sort of, Christ almighty.
I'm going to have my breakfast after this.
He left his mark on me. He left his mark on me. Oh,
Good cabin, mate.
oh boy. No, it wasn't even my cabin mate. He just used the cabin because it was convenient.
God. So that's the story.
Yeah.
Well, the lady had wiped herself on the towel and myself got
Oh,
going and
God.
used the towel
Yeah.
to dry my face.
I'll discuss.
And it was
Do you remember the other guy on the behind Paddy's right? He was a photog.
oh yeah, the one on the right.
Mm.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was. He was a big problem on the ships. He used to touch girls up in the bar, and well,
Really?
God, we had to cover for him. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I forget his name. You remember him, Al? The guy to Paddy's right behind. He was a photogs.
I don't.
Baker. Somebody Baker.
Yeah. Well, there was about 3 bakers, wasn't there?
There was exactly, yeah. There was 3
Yeah.
bakers. Yeah, he was
I
one
remember
of them.
that now. Yeah.
They were on Oriana though, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was on IP, and we kept putting him out of the shit for touching up girls in the bar, and oh god, he was a big problem.
Who's the other guy there on the your left? Back, yeah, standing to your left.
My left is that's the guy that he went out with Sue Jones, Sanders Jones, Bob somebody.
All right, yeah. Not Sue from Spain.
Yeah. They were together for years and years and years. And
right.
I don't know what happened.
Is that Sue in the photo?
No, that's
no.
Jeanette. Which way am I going? Jeanette.
Other way. Aye, Jeanette.
No,
Jeanette.
Sue from Spain was a bedroom steward.
Okay.
I think Jeanette went out with a baker. She went out with that baker.
If you can send me that picture, Marcus, I'll put it in the edit.
Okay, mate. Yeah, all right.
And I got a question. So when does that uniform come on? Is that in the 80s? I've never seen the red on it. Is he a table captain or something?
No,
they're PRSs.
They're PRSs.
With the red?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They came on just before they finished us in '86.
Yeah,
There
I
you
think
go.
I was. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Yeah, 86. I think I was.
I was long gone.
Just before I finished, I left there in '86, and then I went to Scotland and got my hotel up there. Yeah. So I broke my contract. I had a private contract with Princess, and then I broke that and flew back to England.
What's he?
Yeah.
You know that one with the foot, that one you had on a couple of slides ago with the football team. Can you send that to me? Because Charlie O'Neill's in that. Charlie from Bermuda. I just
Really?
noticed.
Oh, right.
I've just noticed.
That was in Tonga, in Nuku'alofa.
All right. Okay.
Stevie, you can't.
I've never seen a photograph of Charlie. For sure. Because he'll probably be on tonight.
Yeah, tell me where he is. Which
he's got like a pink shirt on.
I'd be pleased to see that then.
Got the pink shirt on.
Is that him in the middle?
Yeah, right in the middle.
All right. I was going to say that football team could do with more of a football strip, really, because it's all different colours.
Yeah, we were a bit relaxed. No, actually, it was the rugby team.
Oh yeah, there's more than 11 there.
It looks like the old gay rainbow team, doesn't it? Really?
Where are you in it then?
I'm in the front in a blue shirt.
On the front, on the right.
Next to Murphy, John Murphy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mel Doherty, he's in it. There's Tim Taylor, who unfortunately passed away. Tracy. Yeah,
is that the shark?
It's
Shark,
Fraser.
yeah,
the shark.
Yeah, the shark's there.
Stevie Hayes, Mick Ross.
Yep.
No, Stevie Hayes. God.
That's who we were trying to think of the other night, Macca. You said, who's that? That photo I showed you. Steve Hayes.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Stevie
think
Hayes.
of his surname.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any of you guys see the New Zealand girl win the snowboard gold medal?
No.
Oh, you will. No. Yeah, the New Zealand's first gold medal on the snowboarding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you probably get it today. It was last night.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well done.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, Alistair, Celtic have got an Australian manager now.
Yeah.
How's that going down?
Postecoglou.
Yeah.
A good win the other night, didn't they? The big Rangers 3-0.
Yeah.
They reckon they're calling him Mac Polgamu.
Well, Hearts play Rangers this afternoon,
Oh,
and we've got two Aussie guys.
I know you have, yeah.
Yeah, Nathan Atkinson and Cameron Devlin.
Uh-huh.
So they're
And how
good
do you think
guys,
you'll go?
actually. Sorry?
How do you think you'll go? Because Rangers have got that other guy from Juventus now, haven't
Yeah, they've got Ramsey.
they? Ramsey,
Well,
yeah.
we drew with them last time we were there, but it's in Glasgow and referees are all based in Glasgow. Honestly, we should have had last week. We played Hibs. We should have had 2 Stonewall penalties and didn't get them. We played Celtic the week before and we should have had 2 penalties and we didn't get them.
do they operate VAR up there, Alistair?
No, not yet. They hope to have it either next season or the season after.
Oh, okay.
But it'll
Alan-
depend who sits looking at the VAR, because that'll be an ex-referee probably.
Well, Steve's a great supporter of VAR, aren't you, Steve?
Yeah. Somebody's got to explain it to me. If you can handle the ball in the box, pass the ball to your mate, it scores, and it's a
Oh
goal.
dear, oh
Yeah.
dear.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Alan, you're keeping very quiet today
I'm just listening
about the
to
rugby.
football. Wonderful game.
Wonderful game.
Yeah.
I watched
You know,
West
like
Ham and
football, Al.
I watched West Ham and Kidderminster. You watch that, Pete?
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
very unlucky.
that was such a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right at the last minute, equalised, and again at the last minute, scored the winner. In extra time. Very unlucky.
The only thing I can say about the Welsh team is we are saving ourselves for the World Cup.
Oh, I thought you were saving yourselves for Italy.
Oh, wooden spoon.
Go on,
decider.
Pete.
It could well be a wooden spoon decider that game. But I was more to get off the subject of that because I'm still hurting. Well, I'm not hurting because I was just so dismayed with it all. I just sort of, it's the only time I've ever watched a rugby match where I haven't, not once at least, gone, whoa! You know, I was totally zoomed out of it.
They reckon the Irish were a class above.
I got to
aren't
say, Alan, that's a wonderful wardrobe in the background again. I know it's usually mentioned,
He's gone off the subject.
but you look like you've done a bit of zoosing around back there.
Bring it back,
Looks
Alan.
like there's a few new dresses or skirts in.
Yeah. No, she's been shopping lately, and there's a few different colours I've noticed. I only notice it when I'm looking at it. I never look that side. All my stuff is this side. All my shirts and stuff. That's all Sandy's behind me there.
Yeah, I can see some tartan in there and that. And I
Oh,
know
yeah.
you like Rod
Yeah.
Stewart. You're a big Rod Stewart fan.
She is, yeah. Bloody hell.
Oh, well, you are as well.
Well, I went and saw him once. I must admit he's very, very good, but that's enough. I wouldn't go again, you know. So, but no, she really likes him. She's always liked Rod Stewart. So she even went and had his book signed, and the miserable bastard never even looked up at her. Just said,
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She went for miles. He was only signing 100 books, and he couldn't even look up from the book to say anything.
I was in London when he was just starting off.
Mm.
And we were up in Regent Street or something, and he drove past in his little sports car. And I remember everybody saying, hey, look, it's Rod Stewart. Well, show you how green I was from the grass I just left. I didn't even fucking know who Rod Stewart was. I thought, what was he then? Oh, he's a singer.
He's a Celtic supporter, isn't he?
1969, that was. He was just starting off.
My dad,
Yeah.
my dad
We
used
all remember Roy Coots, don't we?
yeah.
Roy Coots knew Rod Stewart. And he always used to tell us tales about him being picked up in Roy Stewart's Rolls Royce and going shopping with him and God knows what, playing football with him.
I think he used to drink at his mum's drinking club, didn't he?
Yeah.
years ago when it was drinking clubs. Because Dennis Fitzgibbon used to live virtually in the same area, and he always used to go to the drinking club.
Yeah, big
All the
Dennis.
other ones were closed. Yeah. He lives in Melbourne now, doesn't he, Dennis?
Dennis.
Yeah, he does.
We've got a telegram from St. Ives. Do you want to read the telegram, Foodie? Or I will. Okay. It's from Dave. Quick hello to you all in the crew bar. All good down here in wet and windy St. Ives, Cornwall. Thinking of you and look forward to our next meetup. Best wishes, Dave and Pat.
There you go.
There you go.
No, lovely.
Happy
Oh,
anniversary.
Yeah.
How thoughtful. How thoughtful. Beautiful.
I'm going back to bed, so I'm going to hand over to Foodie. So I'll see you
Bring
guys
the
in the
tea
next
to-
crew bar.
Well, I'm going to have to peel away myself soon.
It's getting that time anyway. It's through to
Yeah.
that traffic lights.
Micah, don't forget to send me if
I
you
can't
can find
find
out where
traffic,
Des Melvin lives, what area he lives.
Okay.
You don't
I
need
will
an
do
address.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't in the traffic lights. I don't know what I'm
Okay.
doing with them.
That's okay. And if
Go on, Ray.
Macca and Steven can send me the photographs, which I can pop up on the edit, so that'd be great.
Okay.
No
No
worries.
problem.
All right, and I'll do the edit for you, Macca, as well. I'll take that out what you said.
Yeah, can you, if you would, thank you very much.
Absolutely, anytime. Anyone who wants anything gone, just tell me.
Yeah, I
and
don't
I'll
want that in.
do it.
I
I'll
don't
do
want
it.
that in, okay?
No,
Okay, thank you.
it's gone. Right.
See you, John.
All right. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
I've got to peel
Cheers,
off.
John.
Nice seeing you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Or week.
Hello, everyone. This is Oscar from Ollie's Pocket with Oscar Tales. The Orient Line. The First World War. Even with the war looking imminent, Orient Line ordered a new ship in 1913. She was to be called the Ormond and was 14,852 tons. Her propulsion was to be geared turbines to the main engines. She was to be built at John Brown's shipyard. However, once war started and Navy vessels took precedence over civilian ships, progress on her stalled to a crawl. She was eventually launched in 1917 and finished off as a troop transport for the war effort. No sooner had war been declared than Oviedo was taken up from trade as a troop ship by the Australian government. Otranto became an armed merchant cruiser, and also so was Otway and Orama. Omara became a troop ship for the Australian government, but was returned to the Orient Line in 1915 to resume the all-important passenger and mail service to Australia. The company had hoped to also get back Oviedo for the service, but their hopes were dashed when she was requisitioned as an armed merchant cruiser and was converted in a dry dock for its new role. The Orfea, to the great relief of the management, due to its high consumption of coal and exorbitant cost to run her on the mail service, was sold to the government and converted converted into an armed merchant cruiser. Orama was involved in the battle with the Dresden in the South Atlantic Ocean. She was hunting the Dresden with the Navy ships HMS Kent and HMS Glasgow. She was located in hiding in Cumberland Bay, Massa Tierra Island. There was a short engagement, then the Dresden's captain scuttled the ship and gave up and went aboard HMS Glasgow with his crew. The wounded crew were placed aboard Orama. Otranto was also in the South Atlantic and guarding the Falkland Islands. She came back to England in March 1915 and then entered the shipyard to be converted to an armed merchant cruiser. Orama was on patrol in the South Atlantic in late 1915 when she managed to capture a German ship. It was called the President Mitre. 1916 did not start well for Otway, as she was in a collision with the SS Dominion near Birkenhead. Otway was en route to a shipyard for overhaul, but the dry dock company had much more than they originally expected to do when she arrived. However, she did not really have serious damage and was soon repaired. So far during the war, Orontes had kept up the mail service to Australia. However, at the start of 1916, she became a troop ship for a year with the Australian government. Orient Line got back from the government service Orvieto in May 1916, but lost it again in July, when she became a North Sea patrol ship. Meeting foreign flag vessels, she would direct them into British ports to be searched. Onra was again taken out of the mail and passenger service in January 1917 and became a troop ship to convey Australian troops from Australia to England. A new scheme was started by the British government. It was called the Liner Requisition Scheme. 2 Orient liners were involved on the Australia to British Isles run. They were Osterley and the Omra. On the 14th of March 1917, Orsova hit a mine in the English Channel and 8 lives were lost. The captain, with great presence of mind, headed for Corsond South Bay, not far from Plymouth Sound, and managed to beach her, thus saving her from being a total loss. She was later raised and sailed to a shipyard in Liverpool to be repaired. However, due to so many government ships taking precedent over her, she was a year languishing in the shipyard before repairs were started. Otway was sunk by a torpedo from UC-49 U-boat while on patrol off the coast of Scotland. A total of 10 lives were lost and the crew took to the lifeboats. Orontes was requisitioned under the Liner Requisition Scheme and subsequently ran on the Liverpool to New York service. Orama was on convoy duties and she was hit by a torpedo while sailing off the Scilly Isles by the U-boat U-62 on the 19th of October 1917. The 2 American naval vessels, USS Cunningham and USS Jacob James, took aboard the surviving crew. Orama could not be prevented from sinking and was a total loss. In 1918, all the Orient Line ships were in government service and no ships were running at all for the line on the passenger and mail service. The board now faced another disaster, as Lord Inchcape of P&O Lines had managed to acquire 51% of Orient shares and thus had a controlling interest in the company. A new company was created to manage the Orient Line. It was called Anderson Green Company, with Anderson's in charge of the management. However, both P&O and Orient would carry on as separate companies for some time and would retain their separate house flags and distinct identities. Omra was sunk by a torpedo on UB-52 U-boat in May 1918. Otranto was in a convoy on the 6th of October 1918 while transporting American troops to the war. The accident was unfortunate as it was caused by P&O ship Kashmir. Kashmir had a steering gear failure that made her turn into the side of Otranto, damaging the ship and rendering her dead in the water. The ships were in a false 11 gale at the time, and she drifted helplessly. HMS Mountsey managed to save 580 people, but 400 lives were lost as she went aground on the rocks on the island of Islay. Just before the war ended, Ossover was finally repaired in her Liverpool dry dock from her mine damage and was taken up by the government and put on the North Atlantic service by the Liner Requisition Service. The war ended on the 11th of November 19. By now, Orient Lines had lost Omra, Otway, Otranto, and Orama. Orient had also sold Ophir to the government. This left the line with 4 ships to restart the passenger and mail service to Australia. During the war, the company vessels had between them sailed 534,792 miles during the hostilities. They had carried 622,780 troops and 15,000 prisoners of war. However, now was the time to rebuild the Orient Line. Well, that's all, folks, for this week. From Oscar. Oh, and always remember,